Welcome to Murky Cup Qualifier number 2, everybody! Another best of 3 series. We're currently in the quarterfinal of the second qualifier. And of course, we got quite a few things to talk about. Once again, we also now have our proper Murky Cup overlay. It's a little bit green, and honestly, I feel like hulking up a little bit here at times, but it's of course fitting for the tournament. Now, if you're not familiar with the Murky Cup yet, this is the second qualifier for the main event. We have 6 qualifiers in total. The qualifiers are all single elimination. And we have a weekday qualifier on Wednesdays, and we have another qualifier on Saturdays too, so the teams don't have to participate in all of them. As teams progress through the tournament, they gather points, and those points are being added up. You end up in a leaderboard, and the top 6 teams then make it into the playoffs. Now, this tournament is privately sponsored. Big shout out to I Can't Wait, who made it possible. The man is also a huge Murky fan, so this is why we now have the Murky Cup. And some of you are already familiar with the concept of bounties from the recent Banshee Cup, so we adjusted a couple of things for that. And now, for example, if you complete a Murky bounty, you get actually 3 tickets for that bounty pool. And if you're confused by that, I can real quickly explain it. So in total, we have $2,000 of prize money. Again, I Can't Wait bossing it absolutely up here and making this possible. But the prize pool is split. You have the normal tournament prize money, you have $1,000, so those will be shared among the top teams at the end of the playoffs. And the other $1,000 go to a bounty pool. And as teams progress through these matches, they can get bounties, they can lock them in, and every single time they complete a bounty, which I can also show you, of course, as you can see here, you get a ticket for that pool. And at the end of the tournament, we're going to look how many bounties were completed in total, how many bounties did each team complete, and then you get a share according to that of those $1,000. So you have to make a risk-reward calculation whether you just want to go for vanilla games and try to end up winning the tournament or place as high as possible, or if instead you're trying to, you know, complete a couple of bounties and make that work. One of the things I'll have to point out here immediately is that when it comes to the qualifiers, bounties start with the semifinals. So this right now is still a quarterfinal match, so teams can't really go for bounties here. If you compare to the first season of the Banshee Cup, for example, back then we didn't allow bounties during the qualifiers at all, but we wanted to give the teams an opportunity to really do that. So once that we're heading into the semifinals, which will be in the next round, teams can go for bounties. The idea here just being, if we have a lot of teams sign up, if you have a lot of matches, that the top teams don't go in and just like crush a much weaker opponent with one bounty attempt after another. But we've seen already in the first qualifier that teams like Exodia are just trying to go for mass bounties right now. I mean, these crazy guys have already completed, I believe, 5. So it's just bananas. Now, there's a lot to talk about. Again, in this game, we're not going to see that. When it comes to the draft, there's also our special rule once more in place that a hero can't be played more than once within a series. So you're not going to see Hanzo again in this best of 3. You're not going to see Blaze or Diablo again. Creates a little more hero diversity, forces the team to think at least a bit outside of the box. The bounty concept obviously being totally optional, but this one's forced. But yeah, heading into Cursed Hollow, we now already have some globals. We got Brightwing, we got Dehaka, Blaze, Diablo at the front for the dudes. And we talked about them also in Murky Cup Qualifier number 1, because they were basically called Name to be Determined. They didn't have a team name just yet, and so I called them the dudes because I feel it really vibes well with them, especially with Ultralisk, Gavlo, and those guys. And now they chose a name, and I rejected wholesale. I looked at that name and I was like, I'm not doing that. They called themselves Blue Team. So, as you can see, they're playing in red today. So I'm not running around calling the blue team red team, and then we have another blue team on the other side. So for the rest of this tournament, they're going to be the dudes. If you don't give yourself a proper team name in time, I will decide for you. And I feel the dudes work way better. If you disagree, I mean, again, feel free to drop a comment. But I think the dudes fits very well here. And if I really call them the blue team, that would just cause endless confusion. Medivh. Taken, love it. Also, Leyline into Apocalypse as a potential tool now if they want to wombo it up a bit. And then over on the left side, final pick for Valar as the cats are getting ready. They got Genji now too, they got Garrosh. But let's see what we're going to get on the final choice for map number 1. It's Falstad. Even more globals. Full on macro combo from them as we are heading into Cursed Hollow, the first map in the best of 3 series here. Our first match, the quarterfinals of Murky Cup Qualifier number 2. First game of the best of 3, and on the left in blue we got the Cats with Captain Rex on Brightwing. They're really looking in the globals now. Sadath is playing the Haka, we got Hirath on Falstad, so triple global for them with Valar on Genji, and Wit, last but not least, playing Garrosh for the team. Over on the right side of the map we get the dudes with Gavlo on Blaze, Ixias playing Rhaegar, Bloodcool on Hanzo, Mopsio playing today for the team with Diablo, and we have Ultralisk with Medivh. Now that in and of itself is already pretty cool, honestly. I love myself a good Medivh game, so very curious how far they can go with Bird Boy. But that could actually be pretty nice. Medivh is always somewhat... I mean, if you have a good Medivh player, honestly, you can do a whole lot here. Not only is it about portal engages into the opponent's backline, you can, of course, traverse lanes very quickly. You usually will allow someone like Diablo to be way more aggressive. You can easily shield him, can provide a portal to get him out of harm's way. And it is normally a very aggressive game when you have a Medivh player that knows what he's doing. And that definitely applies to someone like Ultralisk. So, we're also going to keep our eyes on his stacking progress to see if he's going to be able to get himself the baseline completed, or if he's going to run into trouble along the way. Love also that we have Cursed Hollow as our first map here, because on this one there's just so much that you can do. It's not only a boom, already they're trying to follow up on Brightwing, and there's exactly the portal plays that I've been talking about. Medivh empowering the play and allowing them to get first blood, taking down Brightwing, and even Garrosh now destroyed up at the top lane. So the red team opens this up with a quick double kill, able to take down 2 of the Cats. That was nicely done. Chasing hard. And that already leads to a slight lead in experience. Portals galore still, as Blaze is now slowly starting to go for some of the mercenary camps. So trying to build on the momentum that they just grabbed by putting additional pressure onto the lanes. I'm very curious how the globals, on the other hand, will work out for the Cats. Because once that the map opens up a little bit, when the first forts are being destroyed... Oh, clutch! Ultralisk! Oh my god. That was barely worth. I mean, he could have died there for sure. But as I said, once that the map opens up a bit, those globals could really control the side lanes. And I'm curious to see if the Cats can fully release the potential of this build, or if we're gonna have them shut down from start to finish. I mean, already the pressure again on Wit with Garrosh. Brightwing has to come in order to help out, and this could get dicey. Massive chase now as Genji is also moving in from behind, trying to just lock him down a bit. The Haka comes in, now it's a 5 versus 4 in favor of the blue team, so they are the ones that are starting to chase. The drag connects with Diablo. Nice move made here, and Genji is still the first one to fall as more portals are coming out. Ultralisk with another nice move on Medivh, gets a few stacks together as well as the team is slowly starting to retreat. But that's 3 kills to 0 now in favor of the red team. So the dudes are moving for the Haka, not quite able to take him on, but this is... Oh, they get him again! This is exactly what we've been talking about just at the beginning of the game. The plays empowered by Medivh with one aggressive portal after another. Not only during the big team fight, it allowed the teammates to slowly move out of harm's way, but they were able to chase even further. Now a 1-level lead for the team on the right side of the map, and they're looking great here. Mopsio is now trying to channel for them, gets interrupted, so the Cat's still trying to make this as difficult as possible to grab the first tribute. But, whoa. Again, Garrosh might be in trouble here. Diablo, yeah, Genji's moving in. The Haka and Blaze are all still up at the top. So, we still see the Cats trying to leverage the globals a bit. Once that they move the Haka back down, it's going to be a 5 versus 4. But the blue team is now falling behind in talents. Level 7 is kicking in for their opponents. So that's a bit of a power spike that they can already use properly to try and give themselves the first tribute of this game. Oh, this is such a great opening into this best of 3. I love it. So, here comes the channel. Rhaegar is able to get that through, and that's tribute number 1. Quick reminder, by the way, this time we went for single elimination qualifiers, meaning if you lose, you are out of the qualifier. Teams can participate in as many qualifiers as they want, so just because they lose one doesn't mean that they don't have a chance to qualify for the playoffs. 6 qualifiers in total give the teams ample opportunity to lock a few additional points in. Genji zipping out in the mid lane, not risking anything here. And, well, during all of this, we just see the party continue with Mercenary Khaldor being targeted. Level 7, of course, also for the blue team now. We're leveraging a pretty nice play at the bot lane to try and take down that wall successfully, I might add. Both of the towers down, the gate is down too. But they're still waiting for their first kill. They're still waiting for kill number 1 in this game. Medivh on 34 stacks, so that's actually pretty big. 5 minutes in, he is looking very good. 6 more stacks and the quest is completed. Ultros is able to do that. First they're trying to go for the birdie here. Garrosh with a good save and is also quickly throwing out Diablo. So job well done. Boss gets triggered too. Well, there's an opportunity, but nah, obviously not going for it. It's not one of those might as well moments. It could have happened considering that they're nearly on level 10. They're definitely going to get that second tribute. Nobody's going to take that away from them. Not with heroic abilities coming in. That's already taken. Valar jumped in anyways. Gets a shield. Brightwing to the rescue, but now Captain Rex is on the run. Ultralisk with another few hits. And the quest is completed and Brightwing is down. Brightwing is dead. The arrow with level 10 kicks in immediately. They're taking Falstad down. And those are 2 kills. So, very nicely done here. I mean, the chase was on. They're still chasing and they're now taking Garrosh down. But this entire play was absolutely sweet. It's 7 kills to 0 now. They're going for the boss and they have a 2-level advantage over their opponents. I mean, it is quite something. That is a lot of momentum in game number 1 for the dudes. They're crushing the cats here. It's honestly really impressive. This is one of the newer teams that has formed up just for the tournament here. Obviously some familiar names, but the Cats have been one of the big ones throughout all of the tournaments in the past few years. And that they are struggling in game number 1 this much is pretty telling. They haven't gotten a kill yet. They were hoping to go for a macro game, and so far that hasn't really worked out as they intended. So this is going to get a bit tough for them as things continue. Curse is in. That was inevitable. Level 10 ability is at least ready for defense. But that's 3 tributes now in a row. Boss is also still alive and is doing work at the bottom of the map. So Boss plus Curse, that definitely hurts. And it forces Falstad to deal with it at the bottom of the map. But the top side is now getting pushed. The fort has been destroyed as Blaze was zoning out the Haka. The main action here in the middle though, as they're pushing past the fort. Trying to again empower a play with portals that they're using here. They are on fire! There's a massive momentum train that is just headed for the blue team's base. Right now, the red team, the dudes, they're going through their opponents like hot butter through cheese. Absolutely crushing them. Talking about hot butter through cheese. We still have the new merchant, so make sure that you check out the shop that is linked in the description if you want to see it. We finally have it! Everybody should at least have a hot butter through cheese mug in my opinion. Those are the best. But they're diving in past the keep now. Look at the minimap, it's insane. Every single lane is pressured so hard, it's nasty. They're trying to open these walls up, and they're definitely going to get a lot done here. They won't be able to take a keep down, but hey, who cares? They're already able to do so much more with all of this. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. So, as it stands right now, level 13 is in. They're pulling farther and farther ahead here. We're having Camp stolen away. We have them with 7 kills to 0. The level 13 talent, the boss at the top that cannot be taken. It just feels like they're going through the motion. The coordination is absolutely top notch for the dudes right now. They're making a fantastic effort on this. And this is still a best of 3 series. It's not like you lose the map and then you're out, but it's going to be tough to recover from this. Now the game isn't over yet. Could still see a comeback from the Cats, and let's not forget that they have 3 globals, so if at any point they gain some momentum, they will still be able to leverage those. Hans on 24,000 damage, Falstad on 18k for the blue team. We have Genji pretty much on the same amount. They're just now trying to get as much experience as they possibly can in order to start to recover and at least make the next battle an even fight. But dudes are already trying to push us forward towards level 16. So yeah, they're already on the move here. Push towards the top in an attempt to take the top keep. And this might actually work. We're only 10 minutes into the game, by the way. Only 10 minutes in. They're absolutely murdering it here, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. This keep is likely going to fall. I'm just wondering at this point in time if we're going to see a perfect game from the red team or not. The keep is at 50% HP. It will fall. Arrow connects in the back, but nicely played by Brightwing. No impact from the arrow whatsoever. Keep is now gone, and they can slowly retreat. They don't have to push this out any further. But they might try and go for the core here if they have an opportunity and they can get some kills. And they're already looking at exactly that. Boss is going for the core. Brightwing goes down. That's the rest of the team being in trouble. Likely gonna fall here. And this is going to be the first game of this series. The core is falling. They're absolutely crushing here. Extremely well done. Well played. GG, a perfect game by the dudes as they lock in the 1-0 in the best of 3 here in the quarterfinal. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Alright, map number 2! Tomb of the Spider Queen. After a perfect game, the dudes have taken the lead. So, they haven't lost a hero, they didn't lose any structures. Well, they lost towers. Does that still count as a perfect game? I think if you don't lose any forts and you don't lose heroes, it's kind of a perfect game. It's amusing to me that they're banning Cho. Now, there's a couple of reasons why they're doing that. You might have noticed already that they did it in game number 1. And the reason is that the Cats are actually one of the few teams that really like to play Cho'Gall. But as I already explained, and the same rule existed for Murky Cup qualifier number 1, and I already highlighted that in Discord, you can't collect bounties in the quarterfinals. So, while I still believe that the Cats are a team, you know, that would like to play Cho'Gall, I'm not quite sure if they're really that eager. To be fair, in the first qualifier, they also tried to play Cho'Gall in the quarterfinal, so maybe it's just a bit of a dry run for them, trying to see, okay, what can we do with that? But they have played Cho'Gall in the past, and it just seems like the dudes are saying, alright, you know what, this is something that we know you're strong with, you also scrim with that style, so let's just ban that out and make sure that we're going to move on to the next. But Maiev gets banned against Ultra Luskia. Heroes that have been played in game number 1 can of course now not be played again within this series, so they have to deviate a bit away from that. And we get Hogger as our first pick. So the Fleabag is in the house. And I personally really like that we're getting 2 on the Spider Queen at this point. But yeah, for the basement dwellers over here. All those spiders as well. Gotta say, I would have, I don't really have, I would like something like 2 on the Spider Queen right now. You just like spend half of the day, and summer in Spain is currently insanely hot, and on the one hand that's obviously amazing, on the other, without air conditioning you just can't survive in this country right now. I know a few people that have apartments that don't have air conditioning. I have absolutely no idea how they make it through the day. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. I can tell you that, for example, I could not sit here and commentate games without an AC. I actually did that at some point in Germany in the summer. And again, that's Germany, not even Spain. And I had to turn the camera off because the only way how I could sit in a room with a PC on and all that stuff and commentate video games was me just literally sitting there in my underwear, no clothes outside of that whatsoever, sweating like a pig and just like trying to commentate and make it through the day. So yeah, but even outside of just like sitting in a room with PCs and stuff, it's just too warm right now. So my respect to people that make it through this without an air conditioning, but yeah, I am very, very happy that I got one. So yeah. Either way, we got Hogger, we got Junkrat, and we got a Nubarak now. So with especially a Nubarak diving in, Junkrat follow-up, there's already a few plays that they can make happen. Nice trap from Junkrat to lock the target down even further. Junkrat himself, great for interrupts on any channel around the gems, of course, also quite nice. Always a little bit worried when I see a Mobster with a Nubarak, and I just think he's going to dive in any chance he gets. This time they can't pick Medivh in order to help him out here, so maybe they get someone, another frontliner, so that they can just like dive in with Hogger and a Hodder pull, Mopsio engages and someone moves in as the third. But on the other side we get Sylvanas, we get Leo, so you have your wave clear, you have your push power that they're bringing in now. And then the question, what else we're getting from the blue team? I mean, they have to win 2 in a row, or they are gonna drop out of qualifier number 2 and will have to try again later. Things start with Mephisto, and we get Wit on Muradin. By the way, cool to also see Wit in some of the tournaments here again. Yeah, sometimes subs in, sometimes plays here, so always nice to see him come back for that. With Muradin, you know, but first of all, Mephisto is of course an absolute beast on damage in general. You can also interrupt channels with him. You have Muradin that can jump in and YOLO a few of the storm bolts out and try to get that CC chain going. I suppose Sylvanas will likely go Wailing Arrow. Ooh, Ana. Ooh. Ana and Li Ming. So we get a nano boosted Li Ming from Ultralisk. Okay, Junkrat and Li Ming. That's also a lot of interrupts. And Ana can tee things up with a nice sleep dart as well. Now Captain Rex as the final choice. It's Anduin. Alright guys. Match point number 1 for the dudes. Let's go. Let's see who wins it. Can the blue team bring it back in force game number 3? Or is this going to be the end of the road for the Cats in qualifier number 2 for the Murky Cup? Let's find out. Game number 2, the dudes are in the lead with the big plays that they made in game number 1. Now the big opportunity to take the victory in the series and move on to the semifinals. Now on the left side we have the Cats with Captain Rex on Anduin. We get Valar on Sylvanas, Wit on Muradin, Serath on Leoric, and Hirath is playing Mephisto. On the right side of the map, in the meantime, it's the dudes. Again, their official name is Blue Team, but yeah, I'm gonna spare you that. Gavlo is playing Hogger. Bloodcool on Junkrat. We got Ixia with a grenade build on Ana. Mopsy on Anubarak, and Ultralisk on Li Ming. So, time to shine. What can the red team do now? Game number 1 was impressive. Maybe it was the wake-up call for the Cats that they needed. Maybe it was... yeah, maybe it was honestly what they needed to just like shake them awake a bit. Needed some coffee, needed some energy drinks, whatever it may be. And now in game number 2 they're just absolutely turning it up to 11 and come out swinging. But we'll see if they can make this work. If not, they can still enjoy the rest of their Saturday, because this is of course the first round for them. So it would mean that Gavlo and the boys have to play this out a little bit longer. Either way, as is, we're now having Wit already chunked down a bit. He's playing with a money pick here. So that's already bonus points from my perspective. Good for him, but they're not getting a kill yet. They nearly got one on Junkrat as Bloodcool was starting to drop dangerously low, but they were still able to save him. Leo is now down at the bottom of the map and escorts another minion wave. And if he can actually slow them down here, he might be able to deny some gems at least, but nah. Junkrat has moved in, so has Hogger, so that's a bit too much company for him to deal with. And Hogger in this case is already making a play for the Siege Giants, as it seems. Nice Drain Connect. Gavlo still dropping a bit low, despite all the efforts of Ixia and Ana. Wit is now moving in as well, hoping that he can maybe come from behind to quickly get a Stormbolt connected and surprise them. Doesn't quite work out for them yet. But yeah, either way. As it stands right now, they go for Ana, and hello, Muradin also falls victim to Junkrat's displacement for a moment, but gets the cooldown back and can hop out. The Siege Giants have, during all of this, been claimed by Junkrat though. So very nice start here from Bloodcool too. They are of course hoping to now push this out and see if they can take a tower down, drop the wall, get some vision on that, whatever it may be. But it's I have to admit, most of the time when we had qualifiers, we had a double elimination system. And it's kind of interesting to me now also with a single elimination system. There's of course a bit of an RNG factor depending on who you go up against. But it's also kind of cool that from the beginning it really matters how those games go. So there's just no second chances on this. You can still go and play in other tournaments and other qualifiers. But at least for this one, it feels like the Cats just don't have what it takes. The dudes are just a bit too strong here. They're opening the second game up with a double kill again, taking down Leo and Sylvanas, and that empowers them also to use the Siege Giants at the bottom to essentially drop the wall. And this is in the first few minutes of the game. They're starting to turn in some of their gems. They're making another move for Sylvanas at the top, and Valar just doesn't have any opportunities here. Tries to jump away and gets killed by Ana at the end of the day. So that's the third kill, and the blue team just gets crushed. I mean, look at this. Wall after wall falls as the dudes are making their moves. They have only turned in 9 gems so far. They could turn in a few more, but yeah, it's just absolutely crazy. This is the perfect opening for the red team. It doesn't get much better than that. In this situation now, they find themselves in a spot where they already have the lead in the series. And then on map number 2, they are starting with a 1-level lead, a talent advantage. And it's just looking better by the second. So kudos to them. It's going to be tough to fight back here for the blue team. Not impossible. Again, these are all experienced players. But they have to deal with web weavers now. After they've already taken a backseat here. And if they now lose heroes... Junkrat, perfect follow-up on the stun that we saw from Manubarak, and that's the end of Captain Rex. Anduin is down, Anduin destroyed, and as I said, this is just bad news all around for them. Boah! The web weavers are just now coming in, and they have to play this out without a healer. And again, they lost most of the towers already. So this is going to hurt forts for sure. They're just getting pinned down in their base completely. And the dudes are hoping to reach the semi-final, where they can then start to maybe lock in some of the bounties. Work on that bounty pool. Muradin, low, was hit by the full volley and has to retreat. Has actually no hit points here, so that's another problem. He can't participate in the fight. Top side, the fort has nearly fallen, and down at the bottom of the map we see the same picture. It's in the middle where they're fighting back the most, but the problem is that they're just losing too many structures, and even Sylvanas is now in trouble. Gets stunned out, wanted to get a kill against Junkrat and couldn't get that. And that's the end! Yep, the web weaver wave takes down Sylvanas. Leo has fallen at the bottom of the map. That's 2 forts destroyed, and now the team can easily collapse onto the mid lane and try and take this one too. They're already moving in as we speak, and it's an absolute nightmare. It's a disaster for the blue team. Muradin is low, Muradin is down. Guys, we're 5 minutes in and we have 7 kills to 0 and all the forts destroyed. I'm already counting the one in the middle because this one is not going to make it. This is ruthless, brutal, savage, wrecked, absolutely destroyed. Level 10 is kicking in any moment now. They steal the mercenary camps. The first web weaver wave eliminates every single fort. It's just crazy. They're doing such a fantastic job here, and for the blue team to come back, I feel like they're completely stunned by this. They're just sitting there and I don't even know what's happening. They blinked once and all of a sudden their structures are gone. So now Gavlo is moving out here too. Obviously, it's kind of important that they're not fully inting at this point. If you become too complacent and allow the opponent to make their way back into the series, that's always nasty. But right now, they're playing it fairly disciplined. They don't go too deep. They don't make too much action happen. But as long as they have level 10 abilities, they can, of course, be more aggressive. And that's what we're seeing from them. We have 6.5 minutes in and we're talking keep walls. It's crazy. It's honestly crazy. Sylvanas against Hogger at the top lane. Now over here at the bottom of the map, the wall is already destroyed. The siege giant that they escorted through have done work. Nano boost on Li Ming, trying to force them back even further, which works quite well for them, and it allows them to get some damage onto the keeps. Doesn't even have to be much. Again, we're so early in the game that it doesn't even matter, but as soon as you open these walls up, you find yourself in a pretty decent spot for the next web weaver wave and might be able to take a keep down. So they're working on the turn-in now. They have enough gems. Nubarak gets stunned out for a moment. Alright, so that's the next hit. But he will be able to deliver. And that is the second web weaver wave. Blue team tried at the top, but they're just a bit too late for it. So they weren't able to get the full delivery. Which means that the red team, with the camp that they're claiming in the middle, has now an opportunity to take some keeps. And they are already pressuring the bot lane. They want to make sure that the minion waves are not being taken out here, so that the web weaver spawns deep and that they can push right away for the keep if they want to. They have also the mercenary camp in the middle, so they have essentially 2 lanes that will very heavily push for them. And it is an ideal situation here. Doesn't get much better than that. So full focus onto the bot lane. Hogger still in the middle for a bit longer. They could always rotate in or out here. But level 13 is now kicking in, so thankfully the blue team at least has level 10. But we're far from this being an even battle, since the lead in experience has resulted with another talent advantage for the dudes. So the bottom keep is going to fall 8 minutes into the game. 8 minutes in and the first keep is now gone. Keep down at the 8-minute mark, and I think we're going to likely see another one fall. This is likely going to be 2 keeps that they're losing here. They might lose the game if this continues. Muradin is gone, for example. Mephisto is gone. What the hell is happening here? The dudes with an absolute speed run in game number 1. The death timers are so insanely low that I don't even know for sure that they can end this, but it certainly looks like it. They go for Leo now. They're trying to deny the gems to the opponent, of course, as well. 2 keeps are gone. The core is wide open, and they're starting to make their play here, and this is going to be all she wrote. Core is falling, 9 kills to 0, and it just seems like the Cats have absolutely given up. They've taken a bath on this one. That's game. That's a 2-0. Holger falls, so at least it's not a perfect game, but oh my god, what a performance from the dudes. GG, the blue team eliminated. The dudes qualify for the semifinals.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.